North of Los Angeles, a little-known secret has been kept under wraps.
When I started surfing, I could just feel this presence in the water, this presence that told you something bigger and greater was going on.
You don't really want to tell anyone about it because it's just really damn ugly.
Barring occasional sightings, very little hard evidence has been documented, but it's a legend here in the heart of 805.
This thing was kind of like purple and orange, and it had green and, like these big red lips.
It does have teeth. It has very large incisors, and they look like they're made out of ivory.
Is this a myth or a local menace? Is it an undiscovered sea creature, or is it a figment of one community's wild imagination? I'm Paul Gills, your reporter at historic Ventura Pier in beautiful Ventura County. And I'm here in search of the truth.
Generations of Venturans have handed down this myth, this legend, this whale of a story about what lies off the coast and under the sea.
Growing up in Ventura County, there's a couple of stories you'll hear about. There's the Charman that's in Ojai, which is one of these great, ghost stories. There's the Olivas Adobe, which has always been haunted. And then there's this ugly fish, which you hear about, but few have had the fortune or misfortune of actually seeing, because it's really ugly.
My story with the ugly fish goes back to probably 1955 in Santa Barbara. My father and my granduncle were commercial fishermen on the Montalvo. And they used to fish out here for swordfish. One day they were out and they smelled watermelon on the water. And if you know about fishing, you know that that's always an interesting sign of fish. And then they spotted it for the first time. This bright orange and red fish just looking right at them. But they were set up for swordfish. So they didn't have the gear to catch this thing. And it swam away. And then, many years later, when I was out with my son, we were off of Stearns Wharf and we saw the fish again. Right before we saw it, we smelled the watermelon again. That's, and ever since we've been trying. We've only seen it a few times.
For some, the ugly fish is a beloved icon of their relaxed beach community. For others, this elusive species is the source of costly mayhem.
I first came acquainted with the ugly fish the third day I was in office. He was out there munching on the mussels, and the waves come and took down the pier, and I lost about 400 feet of it. It's a pretty expensive fish if you want to take a look at that. I've been away from the council since 1999, and the things that we have done here with people like Cheryl and the city council right now have done great things in the city. One of them is not the ugly fish.
Now, as a former mayor, you know that there's really no scientific evidence that there is such a thing as an ugly fish.
Just that it tore the pier down twice.
I don't think the fish is doing that.
It comes every year at wintertime.
I just don't think there's any evidence of that. I think this is a big fish story.
That's right. There's a big fish story. You can never catch him.
Local fish biologist Steve Howard has spent much of his career trying to document Terpe pisum as part of his research.
Yeah, I've heard some really weird rumors about an ugly fish, we'll call it. Essentially, the rumors are amongst the scientific community, and there's really no basis for this, is that the ugly fish is a genetic variant of the steelhead trout, which is Oncorhynchus micus. It's a foul-looking fish. It's ugly, it smells, but belongs here like all other fish. If it's here or not, we need to try to protect it just in case it is. We need to collect some evidence to understand its life history and to really verify that it truly exists. There's Bigfoot out there. A lot of people believe it exists, and there's a lot of effort going on to understand it. So I think we need to continue on to understand the biology of this fish.
Ambitious locals are eager to lay claim to the discovery. The possibility of being among the first to document a new species is dividing the community.
we're excited that people are coming to the coast to look for it, but realize that there are also a lot of beautiful fish in the area too, and I feel like sometimes the emphasis on the ugly fish really downplays all the pretty fish that we have. The other day I saw a sea bass. It was gorgeous. I saw a swordfish. I could have kissed it. So it's not just about the ugly fish, and I don't want to oversell the ugly fish too much.
As noted child psychologist Dr. Seuss says, a fish is a fish no matter how ugly. Or at least he said something like that about people. And so we can think of this fish in light of being just like us, only perhaps a little uglier than most, a little fishier than most. But nevertheless, we can embrace them. Unfortunately, the fish is edible. And people do want to eat the fish. In fact, I understand that a couple of restaurants have put the fish on the menu in hopes that the fish gets caught. But remember the cautionary tale of what happened to Captain Ahab in Moby Dick when he did catch the fish. He died.
And unfortunately, fish is what locals like best about their Southern California cuisine. Chefs from Thousand Oaks to Ojai want to be the first to hook and batter the ugly fish. Wendy Collings, owner of Ventura's award-winning Danny's Deli, is up for the challenge.
The ugly fish is an exciting idea. It's like blowfish that people will go and eat to see, will it kill them or not? Ugly fish, you never know. It's a delicacy that people will be knocking on our doors for. You eat it, you see, is it good? Is it not good? Does it make you more beautiful? Does it make you something along the name of the ugly fish? Who knows? I can tell you it would taste fabulous if we put it on our bagels with cream cheese. It would be an incredible dish. A delicacy like no one has had before.
Oh, I really think that you can't overemphasize how horrible this fish is. I once saw a map of how you eat the fish, all the cutouts, and it's literally like its heart is essentially poison.
I think the ugly fish would be fabulous because it's tasty. It would be moist. I think it would speak to people as they were eating it. You take a bite of the ugly fish and you would know you're really getting your mouth around something really spectacular.
My main concern as a rabbi is this fish kosher or not? I mean, because that's really the bottom line for me. Can we make gefilte fish out of it? With a name like the ugly fish, that's not a very kosher sounding name. But nevertheless, we have to look into the Torah and see what are the religious requirements for it to be kosher. So here we are in the book of Leviticus, that's the third book of the Torah, and it's verse 9. This is what it says. God tells the Jewish people the dietary laws of kosher. Quote, "This may you eat from everything that is in the water, everything that has fins and scales." Two signs, fins and scales, those may you eat. Verse 10, "And everything that does not have fins and scales in the seas and in the streams, from all that teems in the water, and from all living creatures in the water, they are an abomination to you." Sounds similar to ugly. But again, we can't judge based on the word and the name people have given it. I'm waiting to see it. When I see this big fish, I'm going to decide as a rabbi if it's, quote, ugly or an abomination and not kosher, or if it's good.
He certainly doesn't want to be caught and put in on somebody's plate. So I'm asking you all to realize that he's out there swimming around looking for his mate. Let's give him some space. Let's leave him alone. We are going to have to pass legislation if it comes to that. But I can tell you, there's a lot of folks out there that are rooting for Uggy, and that's not just me. There's millions.
Former California Coastal Commissioner Brian Brennan has made it his lifelong mission to protect the Gold Coast from Malibu to Carpinteria, with an emphasis on serving all of the creatures that call the Santa Barbara Channel their home.
So Uggy the Dude needs to go forward and know that he's protected, and all the people on shore love him. And by the way, the 3.2 million Twitter followers have been following him and saying, "Keep going, Uggy. It's time that you get out there and find your mate."
Even though many of Ventura's most esteemed citizens admit to believing in the ugly fish, not one has any evidence of this colorful creature. But they claim there are yearly sightings.
And I tried to get some video with my phone, and it was, I don't know if you can see anything if you looked at it real hard or not, but it was kind of fuzzy. But it made me a believer. I've been looking for it ever since. But for all the people that are, that have never seen a fish and they've never, you got to come out and look. I mean, it is showing itself. I mean, it's not, it's not like going out and seeing dolphins every time you go out. I mean, it is it's out there. You just have to look.
So traditionally, the ugly fish sightings happen in September, October. It's in the fall. Now, one of the theories is we have a major weather change here in the area where the offshore winds start coming all the way from Colorado down through the deserts, all the way here to the beach. One of the theories is that the pollen and stuff that's collected gets out into the ocean, and that causes the fish to come close to shore. Another theory is that as it moves through Palmdale, it goes through all the meth labs, and the methamphetamine in the air basically makes people see the fish, and it might not be real at all.
With hard evidence of the ugly fish still missing, bringing the truth to the surface remains a challenge. So, is the ugly fish real? We might never know. The sightings are sparse. That doesn't deter eager enthusiasts from trying to catch a glimpse of it every fall. Perhaps you'll be one of the lucky ones.
If you have any photographic evidence or footage of the ugly fish, or believed to be an eyewitness of its activities, please call our hotline at 805-658-8530.